These are the most unique and coolest electric vehicles I reviewed in 2024. First is the Bakcou Grizzly, a bike where they basically sawed off the seat post and added a place to stand. These were pretty fun, and there's nothing on the market quite like it. It rides and feels like a bike, but with the stance and positioning of a scooter. The thing I liked best about the Grizzly is how stable they are, which you wouldn't think they would be since both your feet are side by side, but with the 4-inch tires and very long frame, it's much more stable than you think. Now these scooter bikes, which is what I call them, can take you over 25 miles per hour and go over 20 miles. And they are built with a lot of torque, which means you've got some pretty good power for thick weeds and steep hills. And with 11 inches of ground clearance, there's not a lot of places you can't take these. After all, Bakcou is short for backcountry. Next is the Moto from Land Energy. This is the fastest electric vehicle I tried in 2024 with a top speed of 70 miles per hour. But the coolest thing about this, besides the way it sounds, is the different riding modes. Mode 3 and 4 are the motorcycle modes, which top out at 70 miles per hour. Mode 2 is the e-moped mode and only tops out at 37 miles per hour. And mode 1 is the e-bike mode, which tops out at 27. So what that means is that this is a great introductory bike to go from e-bike to an e-motorcycle, because it gradually ramps up the power as you get more and more comfortable with the bike. Now when you set it to e-moto mode, this thing can rip off the line. With the motor that produces 280 newton meters of torque, most e-bikes give you only 75. Now these guys offer different battery sizes as well, which you can remove, and when fully charged, which takes 5 hours, they say it could take you up to 120 miles. This has also got full suspension, hydraulic brakes that let you do this when you're good enough. And they have 2 models, a street and an off-road version. Number 3 is pretty cool because it's not every day you see an electric snowboard, but this one is from Cyrusher called the Ripple. Now this is the first electric vehicle I've tried where you have to carry the battery on your back, which is kind of a pain because it is a large and heavy battery. Anyways, it's got a handheld remote, which is similar to an electric skateboard remote. Roll forward to go forward and back to stop. Now how fun this is really going to depend on where you ride it. We first took it to a park with some fresh new snow, and it didn't work that well. We spent more time pushing each other out than we did riding. So we found a snow-covered road up in the mountains, which worked much better. We found that the more packed and frozen the snow is, the better this does. Now, if you're like me and was hoping to rip through feet of powder on this, that's not gonna happen. I hope Cyrusher continues to work on this because I feel it's got some great potential. I think this scooter from Will Mason has got to be the most unique. They went P for plenty in the pad department, with seat, back, floor, and front pads. Not sure why they did that, but it definitely makes the scooter stand out. My favorite thing about this is all the features. There's a ton of LED lights around the side and underneath. And then check out the cool tail light, which even gets better when you turn on the blinkers. I thought the cockpit was pretty cool with a retro look, and it's even got an analog clock. This comes with a Bluetooth speaker with radio controls. It's got hand warmers with stitched leather grip coverings that I thought looked pretty cool. This is also full suspension, has hydraulic brakes, and there's a panda on the tire. Now this tops out at 40 miles per hour, and the range depends on the battery size, with the biggest size taking a rider close to 100 miles. This Class 3 bike from Anaki called the A8 Pro is the biggest e-bike of 2024. Everything about this is huge. The frame, the saddle, the standover height. I truly felt like a little kid while riding this, but I loved it. Now this comes with a 30-pound battery that they say can take you up to 200 miles. It's also got a huge 1600 watt motor that will top the bike out at 33 miles per hour. And it comes with hydraulic brakes. Next is an e-bike kit from Switch. With this kit, you can take an old bike, send Switch a couple of measurements of your front fork, and they will send a new front tire with a motor. Setup isn't that bad and goes quicker with an extra pair of hands, which is why I had my brother help me out. He also brought his wife's bike that's been sitting in his backyard for the past 10 years, which we thought made a good candidate for this project. After we got it installed, we were pretty happy with it. It gave more power than we were expecting with a top speed of over 15 miles per hour, and the motor was pretty reactive. It only took a half a revolution for the power to come on. This motorcycle-style scooter has got to take the cake for my favorite vehicle of 2024. This is the Eahora M1 PS Chrome, and I love the color, the ape hanger handlebars, the seat that looks like alligator skin that pairs beautifully with the apple green color and chrome frame. If you guys are looking for an electric scooter with some pizzazz and flair, this has got to be it. Now, it not only looks good, but it's got some decent power with a top speed of 51 miles per hour. It's also got a battery that you can remove, and when fully charged, they say you can take a rider up to 74 miles. Top places to visit in Salt Lake City, Utah.
1. Temple Square. 2. Utah State Capitol.
The award for the smartest vehicle has got to go to the Utopia Carbon 1 Pro. This is a fully carbon fiber frame that only weighs 34 pounds. You want to impress the ladies? Go ahead and do that. This is the first bike I reviewed with built-in AI.
3. Red Butte Garden.
It's also got push-button turn signals, on-screen navigation, and a bunch of security features like this electronic fence. It does have a pretty small battery, but being so light and having a torque sensor, those two things stretch that battery up to 70 miles, which makes sense because it's not super fast at just 21 miles per hour. Yeah. The last and most tech-rich product I reviewed in 2024 has got to be the Naxian IM. This e-moto is jam-packed with features. I'm talking about dual cameras, a touchscreen, built-in security, and a charge port cover that automatically opens. The IM is a next-level e-moto with a top speed of 65 miles per hour. But when you hit the boost mode, that can bring you up to 72 miles per hour. Now, this thing can rip off the line. It has 120 miles of range and hydraulic motorcycle-style brakes. The performance is just what you want. It's quiet, feels good, and the full suspension does a nice job of handling rougher parts of the road. But let me go back to the tech part of this because there's so much you can do. For example, you can go back and watch the clips that the camera auto-records and saves in 3-minute segments. It's got a startup light show after you tap the NFC card to it, which I think just is pretty awesome. If you take a turn too fast, it will warn you so you don't slip out. It's got ABS brakes and all the normal safety features you find on motorcycles. Those are just a few things this thing has. If you want more details about this and any other product that I shared in this video, I've got all the links below.